Assalamualaikum and hi. This video is for presentation of financial statement. We are from DAE 6B. We prepared this video for Madam Wan Aliza binti Wan Zainal. So let we introduce ourselves.
My name is Nurain Fatiha binti Muhammad Ali.
My name is Nur Fatin Hanani binti Rahman.
My name is Nur Adila binti Muhammad Azhar.
My name is Nur Fatin Fatiha binti Muhammad Arbain.
Accounting policy.
I want to explain about accounting policy. What is accounting policy? Accounting policy is specific principle and procedure are implemented by a company's management team that used to prepare financial statement. Accounting policy may be used to manipulate earning legally. Accounting principle is included any accounting method, measurement system, and also procedure for presenting disclosure. For the example of accounting policy is current and non-current asset and current and non-current liability are separately classification on the face of its statement of financial position. Next is application of accounting policy for Tionam Logistic Holding Berhad. First is basis of consideration, which is subsidiary. Subsidiary is a company that controlled by another company that called as the parent or holding. In the financial statement, subsidiary company are included in consolidated financial statement. The group that control an entity when it is exposed or has right to variable return for its involvement with the entity and has the ability to effect those return through its power over the entity. The group not have the majority of voting right of an investee. Second is business combination. Business combination are accounted for using the exclusion method. After transfer to the group measure the cost of goodwill, which is fair value of consideration transfer plus with amount that recognized as NCI, which is non-controlling interest, and plus with fair value of the existing equity, and less with net recognized amount of the identifiable asset required and liability assessment. If the goodwill get negative, a bargain purchase gain is recognized immediately in profit or loss. For the property, plant and machinery, item of property, plant and machinery or PPE are measured at cost of PPE and must less with any accumulated depreciation and any accumulated impairment losses. For the cost of machine, it must include with any expenditure which is expenditure that directly attributable to the execution of the asset and any other cost directly attributable to bringing the asset to working condition, and the cost of dismantling and removing the item and restoring the site on which they are located. For the cost of self-constructed also include in the cost of machine, and also direct labor is also include in cost of machine. If the property is disposal, we must compare the proceed from disposal with the carried amount of property to determine the gain or loss on disposal. Next is for the Perak Corporation Berhad. For the subsidiary used in the preparation of the consolidated financial statement are prepared for the same reporting date as the company. Consistent accounting policy are applied for like transaction and event in similar circumstances. The company control and investee if and only if the company has all the following, which is power over the investee, exposure of right to variable return for its investment with the investee, and lastly the ability to use its power over the investee to effect its return. And next is business combination. Business combination for the accounting of subsidiary are accounted for using the equation method. If the business combination is achieved in stage, the acquisition date fair value of the acquirer previously held equity interest in the acquirer is remeasured to fair value at the acquisition date through profit or loss. For the property, plant and machinery, all items of PPE are intentional record as cost. The cost on item is recognized as an asset if and only if it probable that future economy benefit. For freehold land has an unlimited useful life and no have a depreciation. But other property, plant and machinery have the depreciation, which is for the building and improvement is 2% and to 10%, and extraction is 10%. For the other asset, which is equipment, future and fitting, is 5% to 3.33%. For the computer is 20%, and motor vehicle is 10% to 25%, and refurbishment and renovation is 2%. If the asset is under capital work in progress, they are not depreciation because the assets are not yet available for use.
Accounting basis.
Accounting basis is a method that company use to determine when revenue and expenses we allocate asset and liability are recognized in the accounts of a firm and report in its financial statement. For the example is accrual basis and cash basis. Accrual basis is to recognize revenue in when the revenue are earned, and for the expenses is recognized when the expenses are incurred, whether or not if any cash are received or paid. For the cash basis, is the revenue and expenses are recognized when the cash are received or paid without regardless of the actual time of sale or purchase. Next is application of accounting basis, which is Tionam Logistic and Perak Corporation. For the Tionam, the company use basis of measurement. The financial statement have been prepared on the historical cost basis, but the method is disclosed, and after this disclosure, the group has prepared its financial statement on a going concern basis. What is on a going concern basis? Ongoing concern basis is a concept of accounting implies that the business entity will continue its operation in the future and will not liquidate or to discontinue due to any reason. A company will make the estimate about their company asset and liability. If the asset is more than liability, the company will continue. If the evident or resource that if the by using this concept, the it will discontinue when the liability is more than asset. For the Perak Corporation is used basis of preparation. The financial statement of the group and of the company have been prepared on the historical cost basis. Is same with the Tionam Logistics Holding Berhad. This financial statement of the group and of the company have been prepared on a going concern basis because of the due to the consideration. They have changed the method because of the due to the consideration.
Accounting estimate.
I want to explain about accounting estimate. What is accounting estimate? Accounting estimate is an approximation of the amount to be debited or credited on item for which no precise of measurement are available and to be used in financial statement to determine the carrying amount of the asset and liability and associate income or expenses for the period when such the amount cannot be measured with precision and certainty. Uh, is used the is based on specialized knowledge and judgment derived from experience and training. For the accounting estimate is used in the financial statement to determine the carrying amount of asset and liability. For the example is bad debt. Bad debt is mean the account receivable or trade receivable that will not be collected by the company. And next is depreciation. Depreciation of non-current asset. Depreciation is an accounting method that separate the cost of non-current asset over its useful life. Next is application of accounting estimate. For the Tionam estimate and underlying assumption are review on an ongoing basis. Revision to accounting estimate are recognized in the period in which the estimate are revised and in any future period effect. For the Tionam, there are no significant area of estimation, uncertainty, and critical judgment in apply accounting policy that have significant effect on the amount recognized in the financial statement. For the Perak Corporation Berhad, there are two, which is revenue from sale of land and impairment of investment in subsidiary and associate. For the revenue for sale and land of land, the group recognize when the control of the land is transferred to the buyer, whether it is probable that the sale consideration will flow to the group. For the impairment of investment in subsidiary and associate, the group assess whether there are any indicator of impairment for its investment in subsidiary and associate at each reporting date. Whether there is any indication that in its investment in subsidiary and associate may be impair the group consider the external and internal sources of information. That's all for me. Thank you.
MFRS 101.
MFRS 101, which is presentation of financial statement. Its scope is uses terminology suitable only for profit-oriented entities, which means for other MFRS, they set out the recognition, measurement, and disclosure for their MFRS, but not for MFRS 101. Because this standard does not apply to the structure and content of condensed interim financial statement prepared in accordance with MFRS 134, which is interim financial reporting. However, paragraph 15 until 35 apply to such financial statements. And this standard applies equally to all entities, including those that present consolidated financial statements in accordance with MFRS 10. And if entities with not for profit activities in the or the private sector or the public sector apply this standard, they may need to amend the description used for particular line items in the financial statement and for the financial statement themselves. For the next one is the measurement. For this measurement, certain measurement that all entities must follow while presenting their financial statement, which is underlying principle. And this underlying principle has a few, which is going concern, accrual basis of accounting, consistency of presentation, materiality, and aggregation and offsetting. For the next one is the recognition that leads to result of the management stewardship of the resources entrusted to it. So for this one is refer to paragraph 9, page 1454, which is that they present their financial statement using the right way, so that they can get the title of presenting their financial statement. For the next one is the disclosure. For disclosure, financial statements is to provide information that is very useful for a wide range of users in making economic decisions, which means that all of their financial statement must full of information and uses all of the important information that can make their financial statement trusted, and while their company can make economic decisions. The next one is the application to Tiong Nam Logistik Berhad. So for MFRS 101, this company, which is Tiong Nam, present their financial statement with underlying principle by using consistency of presentation. So which means all of their financial statement is in an order, and they uses a very neat and clean and very tidy ways to show presentation, to show their financial statement. So which means they apply equally to consistency of presentation. And this company also a bit other underlying principle correctly using the right format, which means all of the format in underlying principle they use and follow it very correctly. So the next one is Tiong Nam financial statement looks very professionally done, and also seems like a report that could be trusted because it shows all the information needed. The next one is Tiong Nam also includes all the business transactions that happen in the company, all of the sales, liabilities, assets and equity, and also their ordinary shares, and all of the shares in the company has been stated and disclosed in all of the financial statement, which is follow all of the rules that needed to be followed in presenting financial statements. So it also shows how the money in the company circulate, and also all of the expenses that was included while the business was ongoing, and the detail of the transaction was also shows, making it as a more valuable information. And the financial statement also show the profit that the company eventually get while making their business ongoing. For the next one is the application to Perak Corporation Berhad. Perak Corporation Berhad have done their financial statement very smoothly and follow all the rules in the underlying principles, which is all of the stated in above. Thus, the financial statement is easily read and full with all of the information, because it was done by following how the financial statement should be done, and using the right underlying principle, which is very maturity, aggregation, consistency, and all. Perak Corporation Berhad also presented their financial position with all of the informations and accurate disclosure in the policy. Thus, financial statement could be trusted, and the financial statement showed that all of the shareholders could rest assured because the company was gaining profit. And this company shows all of the inflow and outflow of their money perfectly and correctly in their financial statements. So thus their financial statement is completed with all of the informations needed and follow the nature of the how financial statement should be done correctly. And all of the transaction is accurately written, and they stated all of the important item that needed to be in financial statement. So their financial statement is very much accurate, so that all of the shareholder also would be able to trust their financial statement, which means that it shows positive feedback that the company will gain profit from it, and thus it will not confuse people how the money circulate in the company, and the positive result could be acquired easily because of how the financial statement has been presented. So it's show how much the MFRS 101, which is presentation of financial statement, is important to all of the company, because it shows all of the important things that the business does and how their transactions in the company, their business, and it's important to see if there is any corruption or any unreliable information that might cause the company a big trouble, which means or criminals, a white collar kind of criminals. So that's all for me. Thank you.
MFRS 138 Intangible Asset.
Hi, I am Nurain Fatiha. I would like to present about the intangible asset, which is MFRS 138. For the scope, there are 5, which is financial asset, exploration and evaluation asset, expenditure on the development, intangible asset arising from the insurance, and lastly, intangible asset covered by another MFRS, such as intangible asset held for the sale deferred tax asset. For the measurement subsequent to acquisition intangible asset with finite life. The cost less residual value of an intangible asset with a finite useful life should be amortized on a systematic basis over that life. The amortization method that should be reflect the pattern. If the pattern cannot determine, they use the straight line method. The amortization recognized in a profit or loss. The amortization period should be reviewed at least annually. For the recognition, it is probable that the expected future economic benefit that are attributable to the asset will flow to the entity, and the cost of the asset can be measured reliably. For this clause, an entity shall disclose the following for each class: of intangible asset, distinguishing between internally generated intangible asset and another intangible asset. Whether the useful life are indefinite or finite. Amortization method used for intangible asset with finite useful life. The gross carrying amount of the gross carrying amount at the beginning and end of the period. The line item of the statement of comprehensive income in which any amortization of intangible asset is included. Okay, now we move to the those two company that apply the intangible asset in goodwill or intellectual property. Tionam and Perak, they apply this intangible asset in goodwill. But Perak, they use intangible in two, which is goodwill and intellectual property. For the Tionam, they're using the acquisition method from the acquisition date. For the Perak, they measure at cost. Following initial recognition, is measured at cost less any accumulated impairment loss. For the intellectual property for the Perak Corporation Berhad, they include acquired license as state at cost less accumulated amortization and accumulated impairment loss.
MFRS 11C, Property, Plant and Equipment.
Before we continue, let me introduce myself. My name is Nur Fatin Hanani. So we proceed to MFRS 116, which is Property, Plant and Equipment. So the first one is scope. For scope, we refer to para 2 and para 3, page 1097. Scope for MFRS 116 is to develop or maintain biological asset, mineral rights and mineral reserve such as oil, natural gas and similar non-regenerative resources. The second one is measurement for MFRS 116. There is two types of measurement for MFRS 116, which is the first one is measurement at recognition that we refer to para 15 and para 16, page 1100 until 1101. Plant, property and equipment that qualify for recognition as an asset shall be measured at its cost. The cost included such as its price, which is purchase price, cost to bring asset to the location and condition needed for use of operating, and the dismantlement cost of that property. The second one is measurement at its cost. We refer to para 23, page 1102. The cash price equivalent at the recognition date would be the cost of property, plant and equipment. Payment are delayed more than normal credit expectation. The difference amount which between payment amount and the cash equivalent are considered as interest and expenses over the credit terms. The third one is recognition. We refer to para 7, page 1099. Which is property, plant and equipment recognized as an asset if there is two conditions, which is the first one is future economic benefits associated with the item will be flow to the entity. The second one is the cost of the item could be measured reliably. Then lastly, disclosure about MFRS 116. So we refer to para 73, page 1110 until 1111. So there is several things that companies should disclose, which is the first one is the measurement basis used for determining the gross carrying amount. The second one is the depreciation method used. The third one is the useful life for depreciation. The fourth one is the depreciation rate used. And the last one is a reclassification of the carrying amount at the beginning and the end of period. Next, let me proceed to application and compliance between our assignment companies, which is Tionam Logistik Berhad and Perak Corporation Berhad. The first one for Tionam Logistik Berhad, all items of PPE are recorded at cost or valuation less any accumulated depreciation and any accumulated impairment losses. For Perak Corporation Berhad, all items of PPE are initially recorded at cost. The second one for Tionam Logistik Berhad is the gain or loss on disposal of an item equipment is determined by comparing the proceed from disposal with the carrying amount of property, plant and equipment. It recognizes net within other income and other expenses, respectively in profit or loss. For Perak Corporation Berhad, the second one is an item of property, plant and equipment is derecognized upon disposal or when no future economic benefit are expected from its use or disposal. Any gain or loss on derecognition of the asset is included in profit or loss in the year the asset is recognized. In addition, there is several similarities between both company, which is Perak and Tionam. So, the first one is depreciation of other property, plant and equipment is provided for on a straight line basis to write off the cost of each asset to its residual value over its estimated useful life. The second one is assets under capital work in progress are not depreciated as these assets are ready for their intended use. The last one is depreciation method, useful life and residual values are reviewed at the end of reporting period and adjusted as appropriate. The last part for our assignment is MFRS 133, which is earning per share. So the first one I want to explain about the scope of MFRS 133, which is we refer to para 2, para 3 and para 4, page 1337. So for the scope, the separate or individual financial statement of an entity which ordinary share or potential ordinary share are traded in public market. The second one is entity that disclose earning per share shall calculate and disclose earning per share according with MFRS 133. The third one is an entity should present the consolidated financial statement of a group with a parent. The last one is an entity that disclose earning per share should calculate and disclose earning per share in accordance with this standard, but only based on its statement of comprehensive income, not an information in the consolidated financial statement. The second one is measurement of MFRS 133. There is three categories of measurement for MFRS 133, which is the first one is measurement of basis earning per share that we refer to para 9 and para 10, page 1339. Entity should calculate basic earning per share amount for profit or loss attributable to ordinary equity holders of the parent entity, and if it presented profit or loss from continuing operation attributable to those equity holders. Basic earning per share equal to profit or loss attributable to ordinary equity holders of parent entity divided with the weighted average of ordinary share outstanding during the period. The second one is basis is measurement of earning that we refer to para 12, page 1339. Basic earning per share is depending on the amount attributable to ordinary equity holders of the parent entity in respect of profit or loss attributable to the parent entity. The last one is measurement of share that we refer to para 19, page 1340. The number of ordinary share shall be the weighted average number of ordinary share outstanding during the period. The last but not least, disclosure of MFRS 133, which is earning per share, that we refer to para 70, page 1350. There is several things that company should disclose, which is company should disclose the amount used as the numerator in calculating basic and diluted earning per share, and the reconciliation of those amount of profit or loss attributable to the parent entity. The second one is company should disclose the weighted average number of ordinary share outstanding during the period. and for all period presented shall be adjusted for event that have changed the number of ordinary share outstanding without a corresponding change in resources. The third one is company should disclose instrument could potentially dilute basic earning per share in the future. And the last one, companies should disclose a description of ordinary share transaction or potential ordinary share transaction.
Hi, we meet again. Okay, now I would like to present about the earning per share for those two company, which is Tiongnam Logistics Holding Berhad and Perak Corporation Berhad. For those two company, they don't get gain on earning per share. They only get loss on earning per share. For the Tiongnam Logistics, they calculate by dividing the profit or loss attributable to the ordinary shareholders of the company. For the diluted for those two company, Tiongnam get only 31 cents, while the Perak Corporation Berhad, there is no dilutive effect on loss per share as the company has no potential issue of ordinary share.
That's all from us. Thank you for watching our video. Bye.